and get out a guard. The amount of points Monroe can output is kind of crazy. And even against all these flooders, he's got, what, 2 flooders out here? They're getting a lot of points, but it looks like we're going to get some more here. Do that, go Garrison, big value here. Play the Barclay. Then we'll hit with this, we'll boost this guy up, and that should just really seal the deal here. 3rd flutter, 4th flutter, and not enough still. Today I wanted to play some Dwarves, because we haven't played Dwarves in a while, and you don't see them very often. But they are I think they're a fun deck, and an engine-based deck that kind of gets overlooked. Especially after their nerfs when they were in every deck earlier this year. So let's take a look at what we're going to be doing. We're going to be running Crystal Skull and Mahakam Forge. We're going to do Mahakam Forge Dwarves. I think if you want to play Dwarves, now that they've done the reworks, not reworks, the nerfs to Warrior and Monroe, I think Forge is probably what you want to be playing. So we're going to be playing Crystal Skull. This is primarily just for the first Dwarven Chariot you play, although you can use it on some other cards. So it's just really nice to have that. Make sure you don't get your Chariot locked. It gives you a lot of points over a long round if they can't answer it. Now I'm running Oneiromancy. You can opt for a Decree instead if you want more consistency that way. Or finally, you can play Call of the Forest. Because it's got the extra 1 point, and now they're both 9 provisions. The downsides to Call of the Forest in this deck are actually that you can't get your Peller or your Squirrel, which sometimes you want to get. So it's up to you. But I'm running Oneiromancy just because we are playing a Garrison version. I want to have a way to get the Garrison earlier in the game. So that's why we're doing that. You can also get your Heatwave off it, which is really nice. Now we have the Zoltan Warrior and Monroe. So Monroe, after its change here, if you can protect Monroe, you can spawn so many Rowdy Dwarves, or so many Berserkers, it's kind of insane. But it usually gets locked or removed after the first one. So after the first one, we have a Peller. You can unlock it and make a second, but we'll see. It puts the opponent in a situation where they kind of have to answer this. And since you're playing Mahakam Forge, it's going to be 6 with 1 armor, so they can't just hit it with a 5 or 6 damage card. They have to lock it or hit it with a big removal. And if they don't, well, that's pretty good for you. Then we have the Garrison, which I mentioned. So point of Garrison here is all of the Dwarves, well, pretty much all the Dwarves are soldiers. The exception here being the Marauder is a warrior. So what we have here is Resilience, deploy, spawn, and play base copy of Bronze Soldier from your starting deck. Primarily, you want to be doing this on a Volunteers. You create a Volunteers, it summons both Volunteers out of your deck, so it's a double thin instead of a single thin when you Volunteers. And it's a 12-point play, which is quite nice. And then you have the Order here, which is boost an allied soldier and all his copies by 1 and give them 1 armor. If you have a whole bunch of Berserkers out, that's fantastic, but if you have a whole bunch of Berserkers out, you're already probably winning from Monroe. But if you just make a bunch of Variety Dwarf tokens, say you just go, say you just have the Resilience carryover, and then round 2 you just play Company, click the Order on the Garrison on it, all of a sudden you get plus 5 points on that, which is pretty nice. So you can also make any other soldier in your deck. So the other one that's nice is the Berserker. It's the other soldier. You can also make a guard or a skirmisher. The guard's nice for if you have like a large row already set up. So the Garrison has some flexibility to let you make, but generally I like making the Volunteers. Then we have Brewer, which is our long round carry here. You'll notice here we're not running a Fegus. I think you can run the Fegus if you swap out Oneiromancy for Decree. Yes, you can cut out this for Decree, and then you can fit in a Fegus here by dropping something lower in the deck. I really like Oneiromancy for getting the Garrison. I'm not sure it's worth giving that up for the Fegus. It might be. That one's probably up to you. But for now, we're going to be trying this version with the Oneiromancy, just because I want to be using that. But it isn't a bad idea to have the Fegus in here, but I think you'd have to cut the Oneiromancy to Decree to do it, and I wasn't feeling it right now. You could, though. We got the Heatwave, we got the Justice. Justice you don't have to use on Volunteers, although you still can. Justice I like here to get a card to the melee row. or it spawns in the melee row. So you want to be playing your dwarves in the melee row generally. That way this spawns a muscle on the melee row, and then you pull out the guard is what you usually go for here. If you're not going to be using it on the volunteers, that's pretty good, especially if you have a rogue kind of setup here. Alright, it's big tempo. We've got the Zoltan for carryover to deploy boost dwarves. He's also got that 4 armor, which should have come into play in a minute. The Zoltan's company, you play this, play Broover. It might be worth running a second Peller here instead of the Squirrel, but I don't like having too many Pellers if they're not playing lock decks. There's not that many decks can actually lock a whole bunch of cards. It's just Nilfgaard, but there's a lot of Nilfgaard, isn't there? Then we got Barclay. He's good for that long round. He gives you all your dude's armor. If the opponent pings all your armor off so your Broover doesn't do anything, he gives you 1 back. The extra armor counts as basically a second point when you put it on Berserkers. It's just really useful. We got 1 Mahakam Marauder here. Now this could be a maxi or any of the 5 version cards you want here. Originally I was running a maxi here, but I opted to take that out with an Ironmancy and the fitting cards. I think we have enough here. So I just went with this guy. You could also put in a Mantlet if you want to give more armor, get more into the armor game, and a Dwim Veyandra is not terrible either if you wanted to reset on that order. But for now we're doing a Marauder. We don't have a ton of armor gain here. You just basically want to play this on your Zoltan. The Zoltan will have 4 + 1's 5 armor. This plays for 9, and then you can be putting your Chariot armor on it if you don't have a Berserker or anything to do. So it's at least a 9 if you have Zoltan out, and you can set up more. You could just, if you're going for a last say, you can drop your Mahakam Forge on something, get the extra armor from the Tempering, and then use the Marauder targeting it. This could be anything though. We're just going to run one Marauder. Got 2 volunteers, like I mentioned, we get those out. Ideally with Garrison, can also do it with the Justice. You can also just play them, although it's the least ideal situation. 2 Chariots, this is your opener, set stuff up. As far as the 4 version cards, there's a lot of them, so these have flexibility. I am running 1 Peller, 1 Squirrel from the neutrals, just to kind of deal with stuff. A Spores is a good call out here if you want as well, but with Heatwave, and we should have good long round 1 pressure, so hopefully we can last say Heatwave if we need to. But Spores would not be bad at all in here. I just opted for the Squirrel instead. I think you cut the Squirrel for it. That one's up to you, which one you think you need. Then as far as the Dwarves here, we got the Berserkers. They're really nice. I don't have to say too much about those. The Guards, when you get near the end of the round, your rows are getting pretty full. It's really good. Skirmishers are kind of removal card. It's not the best removal card, but if you got 2 in your hand, you can play 1, and then when the opponent plays a unit, you can hit it with the one that's on the board, and then play the one from your hand. Well, in the other order, so you get the extra armor. But you know what I mean. Like this can actually, if you have 2 in your hand, it's much better than having 1 for removing stuff. Then I went with Agitator. So this one's interesting. So as far as the 4 provision Dwarves, there's a couple here. I think Miner and the Pyromaniac are the other Pyrotechnician, the ones I like. You can go, if you want Point Slam, you can run Mercenary. Not bad. Like, this is just up to you personally what you want to run. You can run Mercenary, you can run Technician if you want more control. This combos really well with the Mahakam, or the Dwarven Skirmisher. These two go really well together. But you can click this and then use the, click this and use the Skirmisher to finish something off. It's a little random, which is why I didn't want to go for it here, but it's not bad. Then we have the Miner. Miner's really good to set up Berserker, but Berserker is kind of the only thing that gets points from the armor. Although it does help with the Marauder. So it's not bad there. So these guys are all pretty good. I just swapped it to go with the Dwarven Agitator because I don't see it used very much, and I want to test it out. Also, I don't think it's too bad. It's a 5, gives you the armor in your hand. That could also help out with our Marauder. You can protect your Broover from some damage, because sometimes I just damage Broover to ping off the armor, so he loses his barricade. But yeah, I decided to go with the Agitator here, just because each point that it gives out, it's actually pretty good, especially for going Skirmishers. So we'll try this guy out. Usually don't see him. But yeah, that's the deck. Let's get into some games here. Hopefully it does pretty well. Dwarves haven't gotten buffed since the... Well, they've gotten nerfed quite a few times since the original reworks, but hopefully, and I think they are still pretty good. Let's see if we can win the games with them today. So is this hand buff, or is this Guerilla Tactics? I can never tell the symbols apart. This is Guerilla Tactics, right? Yeah. This is Guerilla Tactics with Cursed Squirrel. So this might actually just be a Renfri deck. You all know how much I like those. We'll see here. I've seen a lot of Renfris lately. Let's see. We have 2 Chariots and Agitator. Monroe would be really good in this hand. I don't think we need the Agitator necessarily. So we don't have Berserkers. I'll put him back. Good old Milva Sharpshooter. So this might actually just be the Harmony deck that I play. Though I don't usually use Cursed Scroll. Although I don't use Milva anymore either. The nerf was pretty bad for her. The nerf to Guerilla attack is the 1 damage on the offensive movement.
And now I shall break you.
Sadly, I think we just go Monroe. If we can't remove the Monroe, we can actually match the Saskia pretty well. However, I'm pretty sure you can remove Monroe. But if not, we should have a pretty good setup here. Alright, let's see. Looks like we're going to have a Monroe versus Saskia Harmony point off. If that is going to be the case, I want to develop this other chariot. Just so we can start putting more armor on these berserkers. And there's the Chameleon. Well, next turn we can kill it with a Skirmisher, but for now we're just going to have to keep playing cards. Alright, what's he going to get with Cursed Scroll? I mean, we're not going to know, but he's going to get something. We do have Garrison. I think we'll take the turn to play the Skirmisher here. We don't need the time right now. Like, we don't need to play a high tempo card. I mean, if you can't stop Dwarf Berserkers, they can just go Berserk on you, like we're seeing right now. Even with Chameleon, I'm not sure he can do it, because Chameleon dies to the Skirmisher, so he has to kill this. Otherwise, the Chameleon dies. And he doesn't get a Saskia this turn, and then we just keep pressuring with more and more Berserkers. He should just give up. Like, not the game, just leave this round, or he's got the leader or something. He has to do something drastic. And just playing Saskia and letting her pull her bronzes out won't be enough. Willow's a good card, but we can just kill it. And that will pretty much secure this round. So we'll go with this guy, hit this, you hit this, you transform, some more armor on our Berserkers, and I'm pretty sure that kind of secures this. He was going to need the Weeping Willow for the big point on the melee order. He does get another card off Saskia, and this Chameleon does heal a couple points. Yeah. But it's not going to matter. Monroe does his thing, just blows out all of the Saskia bronzes with these Berserkers. That's really good to see. Now, since it's Guerilla Tactics, since it's Harmony, I think we do bleed here. I'm wondering if he's playing the boost setup with all the ranged guys, like the boost engines. You know what I'm talking about. This hand, let's see. It's not bad. It's just we're missing Broover. Let's put you back. Okay, we'll take this. It's a very, very strong hand, so I'm pretty sure we just play the game with it. Or play the round with it, rather. We have Oneiromancy, which will probably be for Broover. You could also just go Company, but I don't like that setup. Let's play one of these guys first. It should live enough for us to play a Novgorodian Justice next turn. Most of our other guys won't necessarily live or be wasted value. Losing 1 point's not so bad. There's the Vanadane. Do we Heatwave Vanadane? I think we do. He's not going to play anything tall. Right? I guess he'll play the finisher card tall, but I don't think we're going to be on even cards forever. And we want to pressure this round, and the Vanadane presents us issues with that. Because I think he'll have the sim loss. So if we pressure this round, he could just play the 2 guys, get 6 points off Vanadane, the 2 Waylays. Potentially more, and then just sim loss out 4 Waylays, which give him another 12. So if we're going to pressure him down all the cards in this round, we really want to make sure that Vandanane's gone. So yeah, it doesn't mean he gets this, but that doesn't... It's not as bad. Go with the Justice. We still have our Garrison. So we will set up another Berserker here. The next turn we can play the Zoltan Warrior. The passive on this thing isn't really that good. Renfri's is just better. It's just a +3 there. Sure. We do have access to Broover still, so we'll go Zoltan Warrior. Don't want to go Garrison Melee because it'll fill our row up. I think we'll hold off on Garrison for a little bit here. We'll go Guard, Barclay, Broover. Or we might just play Broover now. Problem with Broover is he does have a movement leader. Okay, we messed that combo up. That's good at least. So we kill our tokens. So we can go Garrison Melee then. That'll help. And we have so many 4s here that we're going to play the Forge. We don't want to have an Igni just ruining our day here. This guy is a 5, but I want to get this guy ticking too and make sure that he knows we're putting on a lot of pressure. The issue with this is normally you'd save this to put on Broover if his armor gets pinged off, but we have the Barclay, which will put an armor back on, and if we need to, Garrison can as well. I'm not too concerned about it. He does have his movement still, which is annoying because it means Broover just gets 1 turn of boosting. Just gets 1 turn of boosting. Let's play the Guard. Gets us good value here, and we'll hold off a turn on Broover. Now we can get the Garrison to get more value, I think. Or the Barclay will get more value because of 1 armor, and then we can Garrison next turn. I think we'll Garrison here. We'll Garrison on the Berserkers. We'll play our Broover next turn. We get the maximum row value from him in 1 turn. And our opponent still needs a lot of points. He will move the Broover, obviously, but it gives us a lot of value this 1 turn. Be a fairly big point slam, actually. And so we'll get what, 7 boosts from him. He plays for 6. Okay, there's the Shiru. He's a 6. He's a 9. That's not bad for us.
I don't remember. I don't care.
It's not bad. I think we'll just last say the Broover if we want to, so we'll go here. Just Barclay. It's a Waylay. His last card should also be a Waylay, so we should win this. Oneiromancy into our Brewer. Drop him here. And give these guys some points. Oh, it's a heat wave. And we take the win there. GG. Nilfgaard Imprisonment. This is kind of not what we want to see. We don't like locks. Damage we're kind of fine with, because the armor we get from Mahakam Forge will absorb quite a bit, but locks from Imprisonment could be an issue, especially because it means Monroe basically doesn't do anything. We want to... We kind of have to wait to have Monroe with Peller in hand then. I also don't think that means we probably don't need that. Without Garrison, we actually do kind of usually want him in the deck. We do have a lot of bronzes, and they're not terrible. I like having double Skirmisher. We do want to redraw here, so I guess we'll put back... Guard could be good in the long round. I guess we don't really need the Skirmishers versus his deck, so I think we'll put one back. That's a nice card to draw here. So we don't have the Chariot. I don't quite think it's worth Oneiromancing the Chariot, but so instead we'll go with an Agitator. Accomplishes a very similar thing, right? Give you an armor and give you an armor. The idea of Chariots that you give out more armor to get more value, right? That's basically what Agitator's doing. It's not as targeted. We can't keep putting one armor on a Berserker every turn, but this Berserker will end up with 6 armor when it comes down, which is not bad at all. This guy's confused. Hopefully our Agitator does some good for us here. We're just going to go into this Berserker next. We go Berserker, Skirmisher, see when we want to play these. Nothing too complicated. If we need to play the guards, and he's not going to pass, we can go Oneiromancy into our Garrison, which would pull out all of our volunteers, and thin our deck by 2. And thin the deck out of the Garrison. So it'll be a nice play. We got carryover from it. Okay, there's the first lock. He's going to have a whole bunch of these. So I can't say I'm surprised. We'll play this guy here. 4 armor. Not bad. Okay, that's an interesting choice. He's probably passing next turn then. Just dropping that to pass next turn would be my guess. So we'll just hit with this guy. We'll drop one of these because it's our only 4 precision. Won't mind dropping it here. Doesn't get full value, but I think he's passing. Would be kind of weird if he isn't. So otherwise that doesn't make much sense. Alright, I think at this point we go for the Garrison. It looks like he's trying to make us get rid of some of our decent cards, and I'm not a big fan. Play this. Go into the Mahakam Volunteers, and just fill this row up. We do have carryover now too if he's going to just pass. It's not terrible. Usually we just want to use the Volunteers for a big tempo play. And here that kind of makes sense because it looks like we want to, well, it doesn't look like, we do want to force him out here. We don't want to be bled out of our gold cards because we don't have that many left. Okay, so there's a Rune Mage. Is this a Renfri deck? If it's a Renfri deck, the good thing is you might not save the lock charges. We can get away with our Monroe and stuff. I mean, like, he'll probably use the imprisonment charges before playing Renfri, so maybe he won't use his leaders and such on our good cards. Now we drop this guard. Problem here is if he goes for the Triss, we might actually still lose. It's because we don't have a way to purify our Brewer. Yeah, he's going to go for the Triss. It's a Renfri deck. My absolute favorite. We go for the Brewer and he Trisses. How bad is it? So we get 3, 6, 9, 13, 16, 19, 23. It's a 26-point Triss. No, she's a 3, right? So 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, 19, 22. He has 26-point Triss. If we play Brewer, he's a 6. He gives us 9 points right away. That's a 15. Puts us to 60. And he still pulls ahead with the Triss. We lose on even. So we have to pass here. Because he locks the Brewer when we play it with a leader charge. And plays the Triss. And then we start losing on even. It's not great, but if we just play the Brewer, it's not going to help us out. Alright, so here we have... I don't know if we want an Agitator here. This is a good one to have. This is a pretty good hand. We're going to be a little susceptible to bleeding here, but I don't think Renfri really wants to do that. If they have Nausicaa Sergeants. I'm not sure if he's running Nausicaa Sergeants. If he's got Spotters, he might want to go for it. But we'll see here. And we know he's running Illusionist, but he's dropped one of those already. So, yeah, he's probably going to go for the pass here. It does waste our Garrison carryover. That's fine. We'll just play a Chariot. Now, our issue here is he hasn't used his Imprisonment charges. We want him to use them so we can Renfri. Then we can play our Monroe and Brewer. But I have a feeling he's not going to. It's not really the sort of hand we want to have here. Okay, Pellar's actually a really good card. We do want our Zoltan Warrior and our Company. Which means we have to do a redraw. Like I said though, Pellar's really good, so I don't really want to redraw it. But so's Chariot, because Chariot will probably eat one of the locks. I guess we'll keep this. Not my favorite thing to do, but it could be worse. Because I think we're going to need the Pellar. So the only thing we really want to put... These are bad to put back. We can play out the Zoltan Warrior. I don't think we'll need the Company. Oh, that's annoying. That is very annoying indeed. Kind of messes up our next play because we don't have a Dwarf. So we can't play this. We'd have to own Niromancy for Warrior, which is bad. Okay, this is actually a big problem then. Really didn't expect the Infiltrator, but it does mess everything up here. Lose 4 points here. Lose a Monroe if we do it there. We just don't have a good play now. It's pretty terrible, but I think it's our best of the bad choices. Should have given it an armor, by the way. I was just distracted by how bad our options are. Goes for a lock on the chariot. Good. I thought this would take a lock at some point. Now we just need to get out the tokens. So we want to play our Justice here. And I think we want to go with a Berserker because it might take the other lock. Then we want to play Warrior with Oneiromancy, then go Monroe. We're not going to get a whole bunch of Transformers with Monroe just because he has so many locks in his deck. He still has a Vilgefortz too, keep in mind. Which could be really bad if it pulls out a Skirmisher. We could have gone for the Marauder off of the Justice here. But I don't want to go tall, considering he still has Vilgefortz. Otherwise, we're not going to go that tall. Like, he'll kill our Brewer. Brewer will make a bunch of points distributed over our guys. So it's not too bad. So I think we go Zoltan Warrior now. Really, we want to kill this. Because killing this means the Triss is worse. Hopefully he uses his last lock on the Zoltan Warrior, then we go into the Monroe. I don't want to put the Forge on it to protect it like you might in other matchups, just because Vilgefortz is guaranteed basically to be in his hand. And that gets him, he removes a lot of points and stops a pretty decent engine. So there's the Milton. Can't say we're surprised to see that package here. Let's see, do we go melee with our Monroe? Yeah, pretty sure we do. We got space for him.
What do you say we fight on my level, eh?
Do have to watch out for that Igni still, but we can use our Forge to the leader charge to dodge it. So there's the lock. We're gonna Peller that. Don't need the cooldown, so we don't have to give it the armor. It's Guillaume. It's not too bad. He does have Renfri. I think we do this Purify first. There's the Ivar. No, we're all surprised by this. And we will get armor from Barclay. If we go with the Forge on the Berserker, it should protect our Brewer from Igni. So we're going to do that. Of course, Heatwave we wanted to hit on a big card, but that might be difficult now. He's going to Vilgefortz us. Do know that. He's Vilgefortz and Triss. Probably is his last two. We're going to Heatwave this turn, I think. Actually, we Barclay this turn, we get another Berserker turn. Okay, that has a lot of armor on it. So I think we do want to Heatwave it. This way, he might think the Brewer won't get another turn and might not kill it. So that's the plan here. Maybe it's, well, Igni. He's got Triss and Renfri, right? Like Triss, Meteor Shower, Renfri. So another Meteor Shower and Renfri. Oh, he doesn't. Did he just not draw his Renfri? So yeah, here he doesn't kill this. We'll play our Barclay here. This should be a lot of points. Brewer gets another armor. He ticks, get a whole bunch of value. But I think we still lose to a Triss Meteor Shower here, sadly. No, we just get a draw. Okay then. Going up against Overwhelming Hunger. So there's a couple things to keep in mind here. Vi is the most annoying thing ever. Put you back, shoot back. The only chance we really have against Vi is to get round 1 Monroe. We don't have it. So this could be a really big problem. If it's just like a value Deathwish with like succubuses and things, we can handle that. But if it's just Vi, we don't have the resets.
You wouldn't want to hurt us, would you?
That thing is we have to watch out for Marunas, which is why the chariot, their tokens are really nice here. So the Marunas can not steal, hopefully.
Come to me.
He's got good value cards there. We probably will need to Broover this round. Although I'm not excited about it.
Ever had your kneecaps broken?
Keeping the second chariot because we don't really need the extra armor boost here. This will kill a token, but that's fine. Give that guy the armor back so we can use this order. And I guess we'll go with the Justice here. Let's get our Berserker out. And we'll go with the Chariot next turn. Second Chariot. That'll get us to 8 melee, so this guy will be our 9th. And then with the Fog will kill this guy, so we'll have 1 space left, and we can play our Broover then if we need to. Although, we might not need to go for the second Chariot. Having the second Chariot later is good. But it's our only bronze, so I think we will. Although we could just go for carryover. Let's go for carryover, actually. Yeah, that makes more sense. Let's do that. This looks just like a value Deathwish deck, so we're much more comfortable playing this than a Vi deck. I really like Cyclops. Glad to see some other people do as well. I think here we just drop a guard. We're up by a fair amount of points here. So if we can hold off on this guy. Nice, we do get to keep him. Now, he does have, what, 2 Toads in grave? He has a really nice setup, which means we do need to play this round. Hopefully we can get our Monroe. We're going to need him. Okay, we don't have him. That's annoying. I don't think in this matchup we need Peller. Oh, that's a nice card to get. Do we play Agitator? Put you back. Ew, we didn't want to draw that. That's not what we wanted to draw, but we can work with it at least. Let's play the Agitator. Because we're going to Oneiromancy out Monroe anyway, so it's not like we lose the Garrison off of the Volunteers. So we're going to use that. So we'll have Garrison for... I mean, we'll probably hold the Volunteers if we can. Do we Heatwave the Detloff knowing he's about to play a Raucous Queen on it? I say yes, but then he has Haunt. And that's the problem. That is the problem. I guess we'll hold this. The problem is the Queen here is so good. The Raucous Queen. Oh, he's just gonna go for the Haunt. Okay, we don't have to worry about him keeping the Raucous Queen then. Is Detloff or the Haunt worse? Could also Heatwave the Raucous Queen, but he's just going to Deathwish her. I think We have to worry about the haunt round 3 now, so I think we just get rid of this guy. It might feel weird, but he definitely is a Rakkus Queen. And then he gets at least he definitely can kill that Dettlaff next turn. So we're denying the other 9 points he'd get there, or 6 points from it coming back. If it's a Rakkus Queen, get even more back. I do like that choice. If we go for a Monroe here. We'll get a few turns out of him at least. He will get the Succubus value, but he hasn't played another one. So is the Rakkus Queen. That's how he's going to get the second one, I guess. There's a lot of points there. The Rakkus Queen is gone. And the Succubus is not coming back yet. So that doesn't have value. Okay, yeah, he's going to eat it. Now it does. It's 27. Can we do 27? Yeah, we can keep playing here. Question is, do we play our Brewer? That is the interesting question. We still have company, so it's not bad round 3, but we have to draw the company. And that's what? 50% chance? So I think we'll use him this round then. That's just a 50% chance.
Nothing like a dwarf to get you out of a tight spot.
If we thinned our deck more, like if we had the garrison here, okay, there is a pretty big Igni, so that's really bad. Okay, we're done with this round. I didn't think he'd be running an Igni, but as always, whenever Igni shows up and you don't expect it, you lose. I don't know why he's playing Igni. I guess I don't know. I saw with like Cyclopses and stuff, he wouldn't be using it. Whatever. I guess you should just know everyone has Igni. I really thought this deck wouldn't. So we're going to Oneiromancy Garrison for Volunteers. Means we want to play Agitator.
We'll pay men back for their persecution.
This can't get Marooned because it's a 5. Okay, there is second Toad. That's going to come back.
I'm just a sexy little cog. Fucked up machine called life.
So now we play our Garrison. Our Volunteers. This is not a Harpy. It's going to come back. I think he'll have enough value here that we lose, but you know, we've got like Zoltan Warrior and stuff. We've got good cards. We don't want to hit this in case we ping it to death. I mean, we're not going to ping it to death, but like, just in general, we want to hit these. He's already Ignited, so we can do this fine. It's going to be where we want to put those points. He's got the second one, of course. Yeah, he's just got the value this round. Guess we'll do this now, do this. This guy. And Barclay will give us an extra point. Yeah, we lose this. Just, it came down to that Igni. Didn't think he was running Igni in this deck, and he was, so we lose. That's how it is sometimes.
We're not done if you can stick it.
Okay, GG, you had an Igni.
Asking me for help.
We're up against vampires. We're not a big fan of vampires here. Okay. Cursed Scroll. So, if it's another Renfri deck, I will be slightly annoyed to cut out at least one of the Renfri games here. Been quite a few of those. I like playing all the same thing in a video. Do we want to keep the Marauder? I'll be able to get some work out of him here. I'll put him back, though. This is a pretty good range of cards here. I don't want to redraw into a volunteer, so we'll keep it. Yeah, it's going to be Renfri Vampires. I hate Renfri so much. Alright, whatever. Let's see if we can beat him. If it's Renfri Vampires, we need round 1. Probably round 1 is Triss Meteor Shower. Vampire decks don't always play that. He's going to have his Renfri available. Blood Scent. No Flutter yet. Problem is we can't kill a Flutter when it does come out anyway. So the Flutters just get unchecked points and we can't match that. Certainly not without Monroe. We don't have Monroe in enough generation here to make that work. Like token generation. You just get the 2 here. So if we Oneiromancy Monroe, we only get to transform 2 guys anyway. Guess we just lose this round. Okay, we're going to lose this round, so what do we do about it? Guess we just carry over some armor or something. Give you an armor, give you an armor. I'll give you the armor. River's going to take a big removal card. Just have to watch out for the Ignis. It's the Flutter. So we didn't use it, so he's going to combo it with the... Or that's Nekkar. He's going to play the Flutter next turn then, because he didn't use it. It's good to know. Let's play this, and we'll see if it pings the Nekkar out so we can kill it with Skirmisher. It does. It's nice. He's got the leaders, Flutters then. Oh, but he has the Operators, so he's got 2. That, we can't do anything about that. He's just got it. We might have to Oneiromancy Heatwave a Flutter this round. Not happy about that. But at least hopefully with the Nekkar gone, he can't get bleeding without the leader. Oh, it's Golden Nekkar Vampire, so it's not Renfri. Oh, this takes a Flutter now. That's so annoying. I'm sure that's what he intended. Yeah, I mean. Okay, this is just Flutter spam. Flutter spam. Interesting. I think we just have to match here. Of course, we do that. This is going to kill this. This kills this. We're going to keep playing here. And then we go Garrison. Definitely playing Garrison. And going to the Volunteers this turn. And then, see if Bruver can do something. Since he's Golden Nekkar, I don't imagine he has a good way of killing a Bruver. We have Oneiromancy for Peller then. Oh, is it Darin as well? Of course there is. Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? Let's see here. I don't know that he can spawn another one next turn. This is so many though. He hasn't boosted them. We can kill one, then maybe kill a second. Oh, that's very unlikely. We got 2 chances to ping this guy off. It'd be amazing if we did. Nope.
In each of us
The
dwells
Golden Nekkar back into the deck. This deck cannot be consistent. Like, this can't be a consistent deck. Which makes it even more annoying. He got all this stuff here. We will be playing our Broover.
Nothing like a dwarf to get you out of a tight spot.
We're not going to end up playing a long round later, I don't think. We could Oneiromancy Peller. I think that might be the choice here. We lose, what, 4 points? We lose 4 points, and we gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's a 10 overall gain, so Peller should be enough. We'll do that.
Ye who wander on the gale, ye we summon, ye we call.
We needed to use Brew for this round because we can't let him just do everything he wants. Knowing it's not Renfri, these leader charges are permanent. And if he can't have them for later flutters, they're not as scary. And we still have like a good bronze next turn in guard. We still have a couple more turns out of Broover. We can always Barclay too, so this is going fine. Actually going fine. This Hen Gate Sword, though, is going to be a big problem. Because it spawns a flutter and it does the 5 damage. Okay, so we'll go to the next round. We do have carryover on Garrison. And we do use our Broover. If we draw Monroe and Company, maybe we can do a 2-0 potentially. We'll see, though. Okay, the Chariot's nice. I don't think we want this. And this is a good hand overall. I think we do want to replace this guy. Alright, we have a fantastic hand for doing a pressure round. We have like all of our good cards. Question is, do we want to? Because he could stop most of it with Golden Nekkar. Then our best short round card is like Justice. We do get carryover from this. We got Company as well, round 3. I think we might pull that out with Oneiromancy. We'll see. We're going to be playing this round for sure. I think we'll try and play Justice last. Because we can either go for Justice into a guard for a big tempo play or hold it for round 3. Let's play a Chariot. We'll go Monroe next. The only issue with Purifying is Series, he might run 1 lock, like the Deregere in his deck, and then our Monroe becomes locked. Okay, yeah, he's going to do this now. That's good. That's gone. Our issue is if there's a Deregere in his deck. That's when we're getting an issue. About to find out.
Oh, now you've got me raging.
They're really hoping he doesn't. It's just the ultimate flutter spam. I think. I'm not 100%, but I think we can keep up with this. We do not. He can't have an Igni, so it doesn't matter if we make them all 6s. Look like it's bleeded anyway. I just think we have a 4 tokens off of our Company. So if we play it melee, so our guard's bigger, we fill up the row, but we have to play him next to stuff. Curse of Corruption. Okay, we can do it now, though. Yeah, we're going to do it. So we'll go Oneiromancy into the Zoltan's Company. And this should just give us enough transform value to carry this round, in theory. He does have flutters, but he has no bleeding on his hero anymore, so it has to be all Yeah, I was trying to save the Necromancer's Tome. I made a deck like this at some point. It was interesting. Do we play Barclay? We'll wait a turn. We just go Justice. And get out a guard. The amount of points Monroe can output is kind of crazy. And even against all these Flutters, he's got, what, 2 Flutters out here? They're getting a lot of points, but it looks like we're going to get some more here. Do that, go Garrison, big value here. Play the Barclay. Then we'll hit with this, we'll boost this guy up, and that should just really seal the deal here. 3rd Flutter, 4th Flutter, and not enough still. Alright, that's the deck. What do I think? What would I change? I think that it's still fine, right? We still do fairly well against most matchups. The only thing you have to watch out for is Imprisonment. The problem with Imprisonment is they just have too many locks. And this isn't true of a lot of the Nilfgaard decks. The ones with Armored Cavalry and Ramon, they just have too many locks a lot of the time for us to really deal with, and that becomes a problem because they lock Monroe and Zoltan. Like, they lock Monroe and Bruver. That's a huge problem. We only have the one Purifying Peller. You could run a second one, but I don't think it's worth it because you find a lot of situations where you don't need that second Purify. But against those matchups, it becomes very, very difficult. So the locks are so oppressive to this deck in particular. So we rely on, like, basically these 2 big engine guys to carry our rounds. As far as the rest of the deck, I do like it. The only things I would change, I'll mention here, are I don't think I want the Marauder. I think we're switching Squirrel for Spores. Squirrel for Spores is always whatever you want to go up against. Before I was playing a bunch of Skellige opponents, they're playing the raid deck, so I just wanted to banish stuff. But I guess now with didn't see very many here, so I think we'll go into that with these Spores. Mahakam Ale, by the way, isn't bad if you want to run it instead of a Peller to get rid of the Purifies, or get rid of the locks. It's just that the Peller is much more flexible. It's just Mahakam Ale is very thematic for the Dwarf deck. And then at the 5-person slot, Marauder, I didn't feel super happy with Marauder in these games. One option you can go for, which I have done in the past, is just to throw in Maxi. And then stick a Volunteers on the bottom of your deck when you play. Or you can also play a Alzur's Thunder or 5 damage card. It's up to you. Also not terrible to run a Verification. It's just a lot of times you draw at the wrong point, right? You draw it when you don't want to. So those are the 2 changes. I think this and this make it a little better. As far as the rest of the deck, Oneiromancy for Decree is something I do want to try. I'm not sure it's better, but I want to try it. So you go Oneiromancy for Decree. This also helps quite a bit with the... take out the Maxi. It fixes that 5-person slot too. And then we put in Fegus. And the reason I want to try this, and I think this might be a good option... I really like having Oneiromancy to get out Decree, or not get Decree, to get out Garrison and Heatwave when I need it, especially Garrison if we're early thinning. Really like doing that. The only issue is that with Fegus, you kind of alleviate a lot of the lock issues, right? So you have to remove your defender first or purify it. And usually they don't always have a purify. So they usually have to remove the defender and then get to your Bruver or your Monroe. So I really like having him in the deck. I'm gonna try this out. I think this might be good. I'm not sure how much better this is, but I do like it. I like the idea of it, so we're gonna try this out. So yeah, this is the version I'm gonna try out from now on. I do think the Oneiromancy version is very good as well. We'll see. I'll compare them. Overall, though, I do like the deck. Dwarves, I think, are in a decent spot right now. They're not overpowered to put in every deck like they used to be. Just the overpowered package like Zoltan Warrior, Monroe, and then 2 Chariots is like every Scoia'tael deck. Now they're much more fair, and Monroe can get more value in a Dwarf deck if you can protect him. So we're gonna try to rely a little more on protecting him. But guys, that's the deck. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found this interesting. and we'll see you next one. That'll be it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And you can check out some more videos over here. And thanks for watching.